mentioned Al-Hasan Al-Basri in the Hanafi. It's good to know our righteous predecessors. Hasan Al-Basri was a tabi'in, was of the generation who followed the generation of the companions. And he was a very well-known scholar among the tabi'in in that generation. He used to give lectures and halaqas, and his halaqas lectures were very, very well attended. And he is the one who said, as mentioned, that إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنَ جَمَعَ الْإِحْسَانَ وَالشَّفَقَ, that the believer bears righteousness and fear, meaning that the believer keeps doing righteous deeds but has this healthy fear that he's not doing enough, or it needs to be more pure. وَإِنَّ الْكَافِرَ جَمَعَ إِسَاءَةً وَأَمْنًا, and the disbeliever harbors wrongdoing and security. They keep doing wrong things and they're secure about it. So there's a big difference. It is narrated that there was, in one of the lectures that he was giving, and at that time, where slavery still existed. It was kind of in the decline, but still existed. So a slave came up to him and told him, "Why don't you talk about freeing slavery and the reward of freeing a slave? Because my master comes, he religiously attends your halaqas. So if you talk about that, maybe he'll free me." So he expected him to talk about it the next halaqah. He didn't. The next one, he didn't. It was another topic. The next one, until a year later, we talked about the virtues of freeing slaves and all of that. And then all of the ones who had slaves in that halaqah, they freed their slaves, including the slave who asked him to talk about it. So after that, he went up there and told him, "How come it took you this long? Why did it take you a year to talk about this topic? I had to wait a year to get free." So he said, "I didn't want to talk about something that I myself didn't do. I didn't want to ask people to do something that I myself didn't do. So I didn't have money to free a slave. So it took me, this is how long it took me to save money to be able to buy a slave and then free that slave. And then talk to people to free a slave." So this virtue is a sidq ma'allah, being truthful with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That you don't ask people to do something unless you yourself do it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَتَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبِرِّ وَتَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسَكُمْ. Do you want people to do righteousness and then forget about yourself? So he was one of those people who didn't forget about himself. He made sure that he did the thing before he asked other people to do it. So there's a lot to learn from our righteous predecessors. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who follow the messenger of his companions and the righteous believers after them. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us better followers of the Quran and the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu